Good evening. I have a 30 filer blue coil here that's hooked up in series with 4 strands. They give me pretty decent amps. I'm using my signal generator. I got this tuned to 10.3 kilohertz. You can see 10.3 kilohertz, and I'm at resonance. Now, how do we know we're at resonance? Because when it's at regular 60 hertz, the blue one is right in between. Looks more like a DNA strand now, and we know we're there because when I short the output coil together, see the input voltage 1.23. When I let it go, 1.1514. The input voltage goes up when you pull off a secondary at resonance. And if this was hooked up to the power supply pulsing, the input power goes down when you pull off the secondary because it's not passing to the primary. It's very interesting effects. Okay, but I want to show some interesting stuff here. Now, inside this box I have room to put stuff in to see what happens. The first thing we're going to do is a laminated iron, I guess, from a transformer. I'm just going to go into the box with it, and look what happens. It shifts out of resonance back to normal. Interesting. You lose everything. All your output power goes down, and it shifts to standard induction. Next, we're going to use a ferrite rod. Ferrite rod does pretty much the exact same thing as the laminated iron does, just going into the box. Now, if I put it in the center of the driver coil, it really doesn't do much. You lose a hair. See, I'm at 549 volts, and it's in 547. You lost a hair, but it really doesn't affect it too much unless you're anywhere here. It's quite interesting. So far, laminated and ferrite do roughly the same thing. Now here's some interesting stuff. Just a random steel bar, I think. I'm gonna put this in and watch what happens. Ooh. Now we lose, but it doesn't shift. Steel doesn't make it shift out of resonance. It just diminishes the secondary, but at the same time it made the primary go higher. Interesting. Now we'll put it in the middle. And just like the other stuff, it barely has any effect. Now, here's one that looks promising. Let's see if I can get them in the right order here. 2 ceramic magnets. You figure they would act like the ferrite, but now watch the voltage. We're at 547 and 115. I'm going to go in and just balance it there. 555, 113. I'm going to take it out. It's out. 547, 115. Back in. 555, 113. So the input goes down 1 volt and the output goes up a bunch. A few volts. So ceramic magnets do not do the same thing as ferrite. So what does all this mean? You got me. But just poking around with it, and interesting stuff happens.